Well, I just want to make a video about this house. Ignore this. This is me. This is a little bug zapper light that I've hooked into the little slits in the light. That is absolutely fine. This is an upgrade if you consider how bad this house is. So, this microwave is a little bit rusty. It still works fine. I haven't personally got an issue with that. I know what the issue is. It's perfectly safe. Don't you bloody worry. What I've got an issue with is how the oven is broken. So, if this becomes a court video, right, which it probably will be, because I want to take the landlord to court. I actually want to. It's not Beehive's fault. They're doing everything in their power they can. But if the landlord doesn't communicate properly, this oven's never going to get replaced or fixed. He probably doesn't want to put the money. So, if I were to file a lawsuit, right, I would say it's a HMO. It's a house of multiple application. It's a semi-independence under the name of the Beehive Project. Yes, I'm putting this on YouTube, I don't care. The Beehive Project. Again, it isn't their fault. It kind of is. So, when I moved in, right, my fridge was never good enough. There was a huge fiasco. It took over a month to get that replaced because some idiot didn't want to spend them. Oh, I can't say that, can I? Because someone... to be polite, there wasn't enough funding at the time. It was very difficult for them to do it. They probably did it at a bit of a loss. I'm just trying to be polite because this has got to be in court. I'm autistic. Please give me the leeway I need. I sincerely apologise if anything I'm saying is politically incorrect. All right. Okay. So, in town, I'm not going to give the location. If this was going to court, they'd have the address in town. The owner's name is Lee, and like the big boss, the manager's name is Kevin. That's going on YouTube. So, one of the first sort of issues, and notice right off the bat, right, there's nothing inherent, well, I say there's nothing inherently wrong with the shower. I say there's nothing inherently wrong with the shower. There isn't. But what there is something wrong with, right, I gotta be as quiet as possible. There's a hole there because someone got a bit angry, right? We all get angry, we all hit stuff, we're autistic and that we have problems, but the issue I've got is how cheap and nasty this is, because you can hear that, it's just hollow and there's just paint directly behind it. There ain't no weatherproof, there ain't no nothing. This got broken and hasn't even been filled. It's like really, you can go to Asda and get silicone and just put it in this and call it a day and it'd be good enough. They can't even do that, and this is what I'm getting mad at. Some of the smallest things. And like the drain, right? So, because it's a bit small, there was a metal bit over there, which was screwed in. It wasn't allowing the air to go through, so I had to actually rectify this. I mean, if the landlord really wants to complain, but it's a minor thing, and it's better for it anyway. Look, there's holes in the top now. The water can flow a little bit better, but even then this still backs it up. There's a blockage. Again, they won't rectify that. The doors I had to put a bit of oil on because they squeaked like mad. This toilet is rubbish. Okay, I'm in court. I don't believe this toilet is very good. It's not the best, like a lot of the stuff in this house, including the fact the extractor fan turns off immediately after you turn the light off. It should stay on for a few seconds. It doesn't. This vent on the window is broken. The plastic snapped. It became brittle and it broke. Oh yeah, the shower. Nothing inherently wrong with it, but the issue I have is that it's only hot. Look, there's two knobs. You can't even have it cold. There's either hot or hotter. I think that's a bit dangerous. People could potentially scald themselves off it, and the pressure isn't that great anyway. The boiler is a little bit temperamental at times, and has broken a lot, and we had to fix it multiple times. And then one day a staff member decides he wants to do a little chimney sweeping program with all the buttons and that on it, and it fixes the problem entirely. But then they go ahead and decide, you know what, it works good enough now, it won't have any problems, we can put a lock on it. It probably will have that problems. It's a Valent boiler. They're not the best. They're not reliable. As if going and putting a lock on it is going to make the problem any better, because nobody's broken the boiler. It's broken itself because it's not adequate enough. It's not powerful enough. It's not that good. The water tank upstairs overflows a very, very minute amount, quite a bit, and drips out the little drain hole thing, causing a little flood outside of my room. I'm not going to go too much further into that, but it's a bit of a flaw. My bedroom, it's a little bit humid, and I will say, like, for whatever reason, it just seems a bit humid. Now, on to the next exhibit. The belt on the tumble dryer is really noisy. Again, as a resident, I've had to take this apart before and remove all of the fluff, because none of the maintenance ever bothered doing that. But a normal thing you have to do is replace this. That's fine, it's a condenser one. It does do the job, but it needs replacing at some point. The door is dented, it's not very good, and once again, the landlord, for whatever reason, doesn't have the funding, or won't give the funding, or Beehive ain't doing a good job at communicating about getting that replaced. It's not very good. I have an issue with Zanussi. They're not very good. I don't really like them. This works fine, but I don't like it. But I can't do anything about that because it's working perfectly fine. That's not a complaint. The next exhibit, and well, the worst exhibit, they did get this fridge replaced. It was a Beko before, they've got a Bosch one. It wasn't even brand new. It was a reconditioned one and didn't smell very nice when we first got it, but it worked perfectly. I have no complaints. It's just it was a reconditioned one and it's not very nice. And the next exhibit, there's a crack in the door. I'm not very happy about that. Some people got a bit angry because I was shouting and they punched it. It's not a big deal, it's fine. This doesn't actually get used anyway because there's two doors going into my bedroom for whatever reason. I would like a wall put here. I'm getting a little bit fed up with hearing the noise of everyone in the kitchen every single morning when I don't have to be up and I'm woken up by the noise. Anyway, these walls all throughout the house are very thin and they're not that good. This house wasn't really built very well. The bathroom upstairs that we were in before was actually too small for my liking. It's absolutely dreadful. Now, the next and probably the last exhibit I'll go through, the main sort of exhibit is a house isn't built very well, but the last exhibit is the fact that early hours in the morning, you're probably thinking, why would I be doing anything early hours in the morning? I woke up hungry, I went to bed early, so I got up at about 4 in the morning. I wanted some cookies, put them in the oven, heated them up, fine. Next thing I know, my light goes off and I hear a little pop. Knowing it's an LED bulb, it's not blown. So I assume the electric's turned off. I step out of my room, and the little emergency light is on. The white LED light is on, which means the power's gone out. The hallway lights weren't working and the utility room weren't working either. The kitchen was, but my bedroom, hallway and utility room lights and the toilet one was not working because the breaker had tripped. Now, I turn it back on, the oven's still warm, it's still going, I assume it's going, but much later in the day I put a pizza in the oven, leave it for 20 minutes with the temperature on the full. It stays cold, so I know that the oven has broken. Now, they've known about this for 3 or 4 days now, and still nothing whatsoever is being done about it. I'm very unhappy. It's unhealthy. I don't want to be microwaving each and every single thing I eat. There's no knowing what nasty's in microwavable food nowadays, because it's all processed. I want some raw food that I can put in here and save. Regarded, yes, the hobs work fine, the grill works fine, but the actual oven, the heater fan does not work. The fan spins, but there's no heat. The oven basically doesn't work, and I'm very fed up of it. I'm distraught of how an oven can even break, really, and it is made in Italy. I don't mean to be racist, but I've heard about a lot of Italian things not being made very well, including their cars and some of their electrics. Unfortunately, not much of a surprise, an Italian Kenwood oven is broken. I don't like Kenwood either, they're not very good. A lot of their stuff breaks, and the speakers they made a long time ago never sounded that good either. They're not known for quality, and I'm sorry. The Italians make beautiful food and clothing, and they're lovely people, and probably take a much better care of the people than what they do in the UK. But I'm sorry, electrics, they just don't make them very well. It's unfortunate. You know, I don't want to blame the Italians. I mean, they're good people. I'm not being racist. It's like an oven made by fear, or made by crime. Like, Kenwood just aren't very good. The Italians are fine, okay, they make good stuff. I'm not going to be racist, but Kenwood as a they just don't make very good things. Neither do Zanussi. I will just mention, for the sake of it, Zanussi also are Italian. I won't go any further, but a lot of the stuff in this house just isn't made very well. And then the landlord came and did a check, right, a few months ago. I don't know when, I don't know any of the dates because I'd rather not think about it, but I know for a fact, and I even remember the landlord came at some point. No, this is not in writing. This is a video to explain what's going on. I'll have it in writing. I'll get the dates, even if it takes me 10 years, 10 awful years, because they're so slow at that communication. But I'll do it. I'll get the dates of when the landlord came in. But anyway, I don't remember him being here for longer than 3 minutes. And he was like, yep, I know a lot of houses that are much worse than this. Much worse, you say. The shower's terrible, the toilet's terrible, the tumble dryer's terrible, and just a few days ago, the oven decided to break. What more could go wrong? You've seen houses worse than this, are you sure? I think the landlord is just a crook for money in my eyes. He's not very good. He shouldn't be qualified for the job, I don't think.